The teaser for Onward introduces its world and characters just fine, but if you do a bit of research, you'll find that Onward might have lots of potential. Let's get into it. Alright, so I heard that the trailer for the latest Disney Pixar movie, well, the one that's coming after Toy Story 4, it's this new movie called Onward, was released today. And I heard about this movie before. I was actually going to make a video back when the movie was first announced, but I just didn't get around to it. And now here we are looking at the trailer. So before I start rambling too long and hopefully without too much lag, let's get into this trailer. Whoa! Does that count as a Pegasus? I see mermaids. But, yeah, times change and now it's super suburban. Oh yeah, there's now a airplane. I see a water tower. Oh my god.
Warning!
Super contemporary, but still having mystical creatures. But cash for gems instead of cash for gold. I mean, that's so cool. You got an elf mowing the lawn. I feel like I'm just stating the obvious, but I'm just trying to, you know, explain, you know, okay, so I get that it's a mix of the magic and sort of suburbia.
Bad dragon, back to your lair.
Come, dear brother, our destiny awaits.
Okay, I'm coming.
I see you've brought sustenance for our adventure.
No, it's garbage for the trash can, and you...
I believe one of the main characters is played by Tom Holland himself, you know, Spider-Man.
Unicorns.
So, the two brothers are setting off on an adventure.
We're going on a grand and glorious
I like how, you know, they're kind of setting off in a sort of...
It's totally a quest.
it's not a minivan, whatever you guys call it. Yeah, Tom Holland, Chris Pratt, Julia, Louis-Dreyfus, Octavia Spencer, just like back when Onward was first announced. So, yeah. Funny enough, like, I remember... Let me actually get out my notes from when I researched Onward. I mean, I can't believe that. I didn't even recognize that as Chris Pratt. I mean, I know that Pratt could be, you know, really, like, you know, over the top and ready for anything, but I don't know. I guess I was expecting his character to sound like something like Emmett from the Lego Movie or Star-Lord from Guardians of the Galaxy. But let's talk a bit about what we know about Onward so far. So yeah, the movie, I have in my notes here, you know, it's been kind of teased for a while now. Like, I have in my notes that says that it's been teased, like, ever since the 2017 D23 Expo. And here's the thing, like, you know, I was actually kind of expecting it to be kind of an emotional trailer, sort of like, remember the very first teaser trailer for Coco, because, like, even though, you know, it looks like, you know, it's set up as a sort of suburban comedy, the thing about Onward is that the root of its inspiration actually comes from the director, Dan Scanlon, and relationship with his brother. And I have a quote here from a Gizmodo article that talks about Onward, and the quote here says, quote, set in a suburban fantasy world, Disney Pixar's Onward introduces two teenage elf brothers who embark on an extraordinary quest to discover if there's still a little magic out there. And then director Dan Scanlon says, at Pixar, we try to create stories that come from some kind of personal truth. The film was inspired by my own relationship with my brother. And the other reason, like, I brought up that there was a possibility of emotional touch is not just because of a sort of bond of brothers, but the other thing, too, is that director Dan Scanlon said, at least a while back, and who knows, maybe the film has changed, but I know he said in an Entertainment Weekly story that partially what inspired the story was Scanlon's own search for answers about his own father, and Entertainment Weekly said that Scanlon's father passed away when he himself was only a year old. And I have a quote here in terms of more details from Entertainment Weekly, and it says, quote, set in a humanless world of elves, trolls, sprites, and pretty much anything that would be on the side of a van in the 70s. The movie follows two teenage brothers whose father died when they were young. Now they're on a quest through this mundane modern fantasy world to somehow find a way to spend one last magical day with their father. So I'm not quite sure if the movie's still gonna go there. That's what I got out from an Entertainment Weekly story from, I believe, back in 2017. And if you look at the description for Onward on, the teaser trailer on the YouTube page, it mentions that the actual sentence here says, quote, "Set in the suburban fantasy world, Disney and Pixar's Onward introduces two teenage elf brothers who embark on an extraordinary quest to discover if there is still a little magic left out there." So that element is still, pretty much a given that's going to be in there, that, they're just looking around to see if magic is still going to be a part of this world. But in terms of, is the whole father thing going to be in there? Like, because the description, even though it kind of gives a general sense of the plot, it still leaves, things open, and I still think there's a good possibility that they could include some things about, them trying to spend one last day with their father. Whether if it turns out that their father is still alive, or maybe in this, when they find, the bits of magic in this world, maybe they find, like, some kind of sphere, kind of like the Harry Potter movies, only the sphere would, like, show them, maybe the little amount of time that their father spent with them, and that sort of thing. So who knows if it's going to be that kind of movie. We'll just have to see, if it did make it in, or if they are mainly going to focus on the whole magical aspect. I do hope they focus on that, though, because I definitely think that would give the movie its emotional anchor and a really nice personal touch. But as far as the trailer goes, I will say, I definitely think it is pretty neat in this whole world that seems to be a combination of, magic and a sort of suburban, modern-ish kind of a world. Like, you guys saw the airplane flying by. There were those, I think they were like elves or dwarves trying to, mow the lawn. There was that character trying to spray, I think it was like a dragon. Let's actually step back.
Sorry, I didn't get a chance to.
Yeah, that dragon getting sprayed with water, like, so, okay, it definitely feels really contemporary. I kind of feel, not to bring up, this show 100,000 times, but I feel like a lot of Star Wars The Force of Evil fans, spoilers here, are gonna say, yep, this is basically what happens when magic was taken away from, Earth and Uni getting merged. So, kind of seems like a really odd coincidence. I'm not saying those two, worlds are going to collide. I'm just saying, wow, it's kind of, reminds me of that Star finale. So, okay, so I think the trailer was, basically it served its purpose in terms of, they're setting up that, it's set in this really contemporary world. And even though, technically speaking, magical creatures do exist, just like that dragon in character, I think what they're saying is, but we don't really see magic in terms of, people casting spells, and people are using, like, everyday conveniences instead of, magical objects, because they're seen as, oh, that's, but yeah, it's probably a thing where it's like people look at it and say, oh, that's, things in the old times. We got, and who knows, well, I'm just, saying an as-if example, maybe the movie is like, who needs magic anymore? That's stuff that, like, our parents and grandparents had. We got iPhones now! So, at least that's the kind of vibe that I'm getting from this movie. I mean, unless they really do stick to, a very strict, like, I know I mentioned there was that thing where it said, oh, and anything that you would see on the side of the van in the 70s, but I'm not really sure if it's gonna stick to that. To me, it just seems kind of more contemporary in general. So who knows? Maybe they will stick to that. Maybe they won't. We'll just have to wait and see. But I definitely think, it's kind of clever, this idea of magic being treated as this, like, old thing that, people see it as, oh, that's stuff of the old times, we don't need it now. I know it's weird me saying that as a person who really likes, learning about technology and seeing, things like computers and smartphones get more and more advanced, but at the same time, I do have, an appreciation for, the way, things used to be. I mean, I obviously, times change for some things, that get better for sure. But, of course, there's still, that sort of, lust for, I think, a lot of people kind of have that lust of, what, the good old days were like. Or even if they weren't around from that time, they still have that sort of fascination in terms of, wow, and because they could, and yeah, I think I'm rambling on too much. But I'm just saying, I definitely think, this whole idea of treating magic as, I think what they're going for is they're treating magic as this kind of thing that, oh, that's, stuff for old timers. I do think that is definitely really cool. Some might even say it's like a metaphor for the animation industry. So, yeah, okay, so this trailer was definitely meant to be more, fun, I guess you could say, meant to be more, sort of giving an idea of the world that Onward is set in. Like I said, I was expecting it to be more emotional. I thought it was going to be like the Coco trailer all over again. Like, we might even see something from, like, the father character, but it looks like this trailer is much more focused on the world it's set in and, our two lead characters than so. So, yeah, so I'm very interested to see if they're really going to stick to this whole, seeing if there's still a little magic out there, or if they are going to integrate things with like Scanlon's history with his father. So we'll have to wait and see, and who knows, maybe we'll get more information in a later trailer, even before the movie comes out. Although, I guess Pixar could technically hide all that stuff for the movie itself. And then, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm wondering if they're gonna do a thing where, like, they advertise this movie as fun, but when the movie comes out, it's actually, yeah, it's fun for sure, but it has an emotional core. So, we'll just have to wait and see. But let me know your thoughts on this trailer below. Are you interested in Onward? I will say, ever since I heard about the movie when it got announced, I was pretty invested from the start. So really looking forward to, what makes it in the movie and seeing how this really goes. So, alright guys, this has been Blood Moon Bobby, and thank you guys for watching. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this Blood Moon Bobby video. Like and share the video if you enjoyed it, and feel free to leave a comment. Subscribe to my channel, and ring the bell to get notified when I release my latest videos. Follow me at Blood Moon Bobby on your favorite social media platforms to take part in polls, see my tech tips, and to hear about my video plans. Thanks for watching.